Just fucking do it. Subscribe now. You made 3 or 4 deals in a fairly short period of time. You think that you know what you're doing. So you start doing less of it, which I never understood this before. What you do works, so you start doing less of it. Why in the fuck? But that is. I'm just telling you, 100% of the time, you start doing less of it. And then you wake up because you've got no more deal flow. And so then you start doing what you did before to get the deals done to begin with. Okay, that's number 2. So and the last thing is, in different parts of the world, like in the due diligence, he knocked the price down $100,000. Okay, now he made it sound like, they're subject to finance. There's no such a thing as LOE. I don't know what he was talking about. He meant to say LOI. The LOI says subject to finance and due diligence. Unless you change them, and God knows you have changed them. You're still putting Michael Pierce's name down. Okay? But it's automatic. But they're more severe in knocking prices down in America than they are in Europe. I don't know why. But I mean, it's hardly worth bothering to knock the price down $100,000. I'd knock it down $1 million and let him cry his way back up to, I only knock it down $500,000. Your offers are embarrassing to begin with, all of a sudden you soften up because you still want to be liked. See, you think you've heard someplace in Canada there's such a thing as a win-win deal. Now, Irish boy knows better than that. The Dutch thief over here knows better than that. There's no fucking win-win deals. Somebody gets fucked and somebody's putting the Vaseline back. That's it. And if you're not going to take advantage of the situation, go to somebody else's seminar and say their fucking program doesn't work. And he also found the 2 shortcuts, as did the Belfast pigfucker. Comments, questions. He closed those deals, and he's working on bigger deals. But one of it's not a takeaway, but and he's put his back against the wall, 150%. Bought another car, moved into a bigger place. One of the guys you're going to hear tomorrow, I think, is he was on the 35th floor of this big fancy place in Manhattan, and I recommended he move to the 58th floor, where the rent was twice as much. The rent was expensive on the 35th floor, but on the 58th floor it was really expensive, to put his back against the wall. And I'm not recommending you spend 125% of all the money you make like I did until I was 60 years old. That's a lot of money. But I never wanted to have any breathing room. I wanted 1 nostril above the waterline. Just 1. And it kept the pressure on me. Okay, comments, questions about Simon the Terrible? Yes, sir.
Mr. Peña, are you by any chance aware of the issues that he was facing? Because he said at a point that every party tried to fuck us, when he was acquiring them.
Yeah, because they lie to you. Now, see, he says that he gets more information when he's doing asset because he's in there looking at that. Well, see, he hasn't, even though he's done 6, 7, 8 deals, he hasn't refined his due diligence process yet down to where it's like automaton robots going in there. You should be getting the same information whether you're buying assets or a company, shares. And he's always going in to meet him, which is great. But when I come in the day before, and I talk to the guys in marketing and sales, and have dinner with them, get them drunked up, they spill their guts. Who's fucking who? Who shot John? 100% guarantee. At least 30, 40, 50% of the employees are unhappy. You're going to find out. And where it matters where they're unhappy is sales and marketing. Because I'm a top-line guy. You can always find people to cut costs. bean counters. But guys that make top-line revenue grow are magic. Those are the guys you want. Those are the gals you want. I wouldn't even meet with the owner. I normally cover this tomorrow, but I'm covering it now. And then I would meet with their accountants privately. I would meet with their lawyers privately. And they're not going to breach any fiduciary shit, but they're going to tell you, they're not going to lie to you. And when you get good at it, what they don't tell you is worth more than what they tell you. Because when they're so afraid of breaching the fiduciary responsibility to the client, they bend over backwards not to tell you certain stuff. Now, when you've been doing this 10,000 times like I have, and your board has been doing it this long, they should know. They're not covering this because. And then when you go in to do the final negotiation with the deal for the LOI, I mean, you hammer on those things. And you ask the seller, is there anything that as we go through due diligence, is there anything that I'm going to find out that's going to knock the price down? Or I used to say change the price because that let them think that maybe the price was going to go up. But I told you only one time in 51 and a half years the price could have gone up and it didn't. You've got your foot on their neck. You're not there to be their fucking friend. And that's so foreign for not just this, everybody, it's foreign. It's foreign because that's, because there's no win-win deals, kids, believe me. If you think you got a win-win deal, you got fucked. It's that simple. By definition, if you thought you got a win-win deal, you got fucked. And even though I'm poking fun, at the Canadians, they're not the only ones like that. I mean, there's a lot. But in the United States, I mean, every little detail is a reason to knock the price down. It's like when you're building and you fuck up and you're late and you've got a reverse contract clawback. For every day you're late, you got to reduce the price. Okay, we agreed $25 million, subject to due diligence and finance. Everything, and then there's 4 or 5 things that are major. If we find any errors in this, $500,000 off the price. You try to negotiate a deal with a union. Fuck. That's why I don't like to do business with unions. Because they have the negotiating contracts down to a science. They pull in guys that's all they do is negotiate fucking contracts. They'll beat you to death. Because it seems to be all right for them, why can't it be all right for you? Because the unions don't give a shit if you like them, do they? If a union negotiator leaves the table and you like him, he did a bad job. So why do you have to be a goody two-shoes? It took 18 months to negotiate the size and shape of the table to end the Vietnam War in 1973 to 1975. 18 fucking months. The Vietnamese, the North Vietnamese, and the weenies, us, the weenies, took to negotiate the size and the shape of the fucking table. They fucked us for practice. So why not us? Well, I mean, the North Vietnamese have, had a reputation of blah, 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 blah. Well, and now we're asshole buddies with them. Of course, 50 years later, we're over there sucking the ass of the Saudis after they chopped up Khashoggi. Don't make short-term solutions for long-term problems. You don't want to make short-term solutions for intermediate-term problems. You assume your short-term solution is going to be short-term, intermediate-term, and long-term. So be careful for what you agree. And all these 300 million years of experience on your board know this. And so you want to tell these guys, we're not here to be friends with these assholes. Now, the problem, every once in a while, when you have these guys you don't have to explain about, they know the other guys on the other side. They went to law school with them. They went to this. So you ask, and the agenda, who's going to represent the other side? And you ask your stalwart guys and gals, do we know any of these pricks? Okay, well, you're not on the team. You're not on the team. If they room together at Yale and they're Yaleys together, forget about it. They're probably both on the Christmas committee for Yale alumni. Same thing, Oxford and that kind of thing. You're there. This is war. You want to leave blood in the street. You want them to bleed out in the gutters. Okay, questions about anything else? Yes, sir, in the back.
About due diligence, is there a standard period that we have to, or usually that's required and asked by the seller to go through the due diligence?
Well, no, but your LOI, and I like long LOIs. I like 90, 120 days. I've even had 180 day LOIs because shit happens. So you have that many days, and normally the LOIs are long because it's assumed you're going to have some sort of commercial finance, and commercial finance is going to take 82 million weeks. Okay? When you jump on them with seller finance and you trick fuck them, they go nuts. Fuck, they're thinking, why did I give this guy 120 days for LOI and we're going to get the deal done in 9 days? But as soon as the deal is agreed, subject to finance and due diligence, you're on them like stink on shit because you don't want them changing shit. And I used to have a clause, which is not agreed to too many times anymore. I can come anytime in the next 15 days and show up. You show up when they're not expecting you, you have no fucking idea what you're going to see. And all of it's good for us and bad for them. You go to for those of you that have some bullshit employees, and let's say you're used to going into the office Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Go in Tuesday. You'll fire everybody. And I have. I've closed down operations on thousands of employees on a sneak, they used to call it a sneak visit. I own the fucking, what do you mean sneak? I own a motherfucker. You won't believe it. I showed up in Bangalore. Had 800 and some employees. First, the security guy that I told you about that now runs Google marketing, he calls in his phone, and somehow he got my cell phone number, and I hear this like rock and roll disco, bam, 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 and he's trying to tell me in these broken Hindi, this is at 3 a.m, what's going on in the call center. So I called one of the guys, and he showed up, and it was, sex, drugs, and fucking rock and roll. Everybody, the managers, the regional managers, you got girls dancing on the fucking desks. Because we were supposed to be out of the country. All the white people were out of the country, supposedly. But we came back early. You look like a fucking gopi nut, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, you have no idea. It's like, for those of you that used to drink your parents' alcohol and then put water in the alcohol bottle. Is that right? Yeah. Well, everybody does that. So what makes you think, whether it's Dutch, Serbian, fucking Japanese, in every business, you have to cultivate a snitch. What do you call them now? Whistleblower. I called one of the whistleblower a few weeks ago just to see and they can disguise your voice if you want. And there's all kinds of shit now. Fuck. We can protect you. And if it's a big deal, they can move you. Jesus Christ. It's profitable to be a snitch. If you want to snitch out somebody for the tax authority in Canada, 10% fee for ratting a guy out. 10% of when they recover. 10%. Okay, what else about Simon the Terrible? Yes, sir.
Mr. Peña, question for you. So when do you make the conversation of...
Well, I didn't think you were asking big tits up there, the question. So, yeah, I understand the question for me.
I mean, I'm not talking about Simon.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
So when is a good time to make the conversation about seller finance or commercial?
At the beginning.
I mean,
There's never an easy time to make, I'm sorry to tell you, we got to call your twin died this morning. Well, I mean, that's how you do it. Here's a picture of your wife fucking a donkey, up front. Now you laugh. I have done that. The 38-year-old woman went crazy down in Tijuana, and you can get fucked by a donkey in Tijuana. And nobody on the board would do it but me. Now I got an erection about it myself. I said, but that girl must be a hell of a fuck, goddamn. And when the donkey comes, boom, it's like a cannon went in between. Boom, and she gets thrown 25 feet. I mean, I still get aroused thinking about it. When you want problem, if you want a horrible message sent to somebody, you ask me. I had to tell, I might cry about this, but one of my best friends, he dies in bed. Nobody would tell his wife. 4 o'clock in the morning here, I called there, California, and I said, send. And I had some people go over there to help her. And I said, fuck. I mean, the guy next door could have told her. I am the premier eulogy giver and deliverer of bad news. There's never a good time to make a hard decision or give bad news. Never. In my experience, is sooner is always better than later. And you're going to have to fire your CFO in the middle of your second deal. Somebody in this room. I don't know who. And you're going to not want to do it. For all the reasons, right? All the permutations. We can let Baldy here explain to you all the things that can go wrong when you fire the CFO in the middle of your second deal. Not seller finance, bank finance. He can tell you 1,000 reasons, right? So you won't do it. Wrong. Banks have been getting bad news on shit like this for 1,000 years. They understand better than you. Somebody's hand was up. Yes, sir.
So regarding that sheet that outlines all of your board of directors and stuff to the bank, is there something...
Well, say it again.
So when we go and we talk to the banks, there's going to be a sheet. This is my board. They got 3,000 years of experience.
You mean the executive summary?
Yes,
executive
summary. Regarding that, if you change someone out on the executive summary, is there...
Well, then you got to change the information.
You can't put something on the bottom saying, like, these are the...
No. And then they're going to say, why did you put that?
Just in case...
Are you anticipating getting rid of them? Or who are you going to get rid of? Tell me now.
Okay. So if you switch somebody on your board...
Correct.
You have to go to all the banks and go again?
No, for sure the bank you're doing a deal with then. Okay. And that's why Baldy over there won't do it. And if you think you're going to fire him and then tell the bank later, that's bank fraud. Yep.
So when do you start branding about your company? Like create a website?
Who? You bought a company. Say it again.
The holding company.
Correct.
Do you make a website of that? Like the branding? And
Well, I don't, but you will. Most of you in this room already have websites. And I don't believe in business cards either. Well, I'm thinking about it. Why? You going to tell me why you use business cards? Is this because when you were a male prostitute or when?
We'll leave that one for later.
Okay, go ahead. Spit it out, boy. Spit it out.
You have your hot assistant do it. That you don't hand out a business card.
Yeah. She hands out the earrings that she put in her areola thing, in her nipples.
Yes, sir.
I talk to nuns the same way. And I'm on a rocket ship to motherfucking heaven. How is it that you wouldn't say shit if it were in your mouth, and I'm on a motherfucking rocket ship to heaven? Because you're doing it wrong. Because even if there is one up there, he's a results-driven motherfucker. He's not interested in your fucking intentions. He's interested in, or maybe a she, I'm told now. It's interested in your results. And heretofore, you can put all your results and fill up the rest of my Diet Coke. Maybe. What else? Yes, sir.
He talked about having great regional managers.
We're talking about God now, or
No, not God.
Simon the Terrible.
Simon.
Correct.
He talked about having great regional managers. So what are the best levers we could use to poach regional managers from other
Pay more money.
That's it?
Poach, Andres has got best regional managers that I'm aware of in Germany for healthcare, but you're going to have to pay up because Andres pays them a lot. You get what you pay for. It's, as Simon the Terrible said, money talks and bullshit walks. I wonder where he got that from, right? But you get what you pay for. You can't build a super infrastructure on the cheap. You can't. And resumes, not 50%, but 70% of the people, what they put down on resumes and CVs is bullshit. And we check, I was part of an $11 billion deal when blah, 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 blah. And then our human resource person calls, he was one of 31 people on the deal. He was fifth from the bottom. But he was part of the and when you tell people that you're going to, in detail, go through or the human resource person does, or the headhunter view, all of a sudden the resumes change. They change. Fuck. Before it was 7,000 words and now it's 1,500 words. What the fuck happened? But headhunters now, I overheard a conversation by accident where the senior headhunter is telling the junior headhunters, you're making the story sound too bleak. They're not going to go to work for them. Remember, we're trying to sell them to come to work for them. And the job of the recruiters, Korn Ferry, who's the biggest in the world. I knew Les Korn, founder of Korn Ferry, in another lifetime. And they're whores. They're not even as good as whores. At least you get your dick sucked with a whore. They're not interested in you. They're interested in a fee. Anything else about Simon the Terrible? Yes, sir.
Mr. Peña, once you roll up all these different deals, do you recommend putting them?
Did you say different thieves?
Deals.
Oh, okay.
All these deals.
Oh, I thought we were talking about India now. Different thieves. Okay, we're rolling them. Okay.
Do you recommend putting them as only one corporate entity, or like a franchise, or?
No. I ran the fastest growing franchise in Europe 20 years ago, and I like franchises. The only one that makes money in franchise is the guy at the top. Just like multi-level marketing. The only ones that make money, real money, are the guys that have founded the downlines. So no. You have Holco, top, okay, that owns 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever they are. And you may have some minority ownership from the companies that you acquire that you get 1% of Holco. top company as you use it as a extra incentive for them to want to be part of the dream. And they're all separate, no cross-collateralization. And you use when you have that many companies, you're going to use 15, 20 different banks. And every day there's going to be a banker in your office or on the phone that says, we can roll all this shit up, give you 50 basis points less on the loan. That's fine. They say, well, go find another moron. I'm not interested. Anything else? Okay, YouTube.